There's the ones who touch themselves, yes. There's ones who don't do it full stop. There's ones who are doing it because they've been neglected and they find it soothing. And then we've got children being abused. So what we are looking for, we're looking for behaviours in children, the small children to prevent abuse or to spot abuse. We're looking for something called a non-verbal disclosure. A non-verbal disclosure comes from a child's behaviour, the way they present themselves, the way they behave around other children. This piece of lesson content has just taught every 4-year-old in the country to play with themselves.
Yeah.
Not only has it told every child in the country from the age of 4 that you can play with yourself, it has also programmed every child in the country away from what we call a non-verbal disclosure. So this now has become a barrier to disclosure. It does no safeguard. So some people think it's okay, some people think it's sexual, and I know 100% this is dangerous. That's just one piece. What else have we seen? We've seen a lot of stuff roll out from Scotland.
Yeah.
They start off with labelling body parts. I can't say because there's children around the names. They start off by labelling body parts, then they move on to actual acts of intimacy, descriptions of this intimacy. I gotta watch what I'm saying there's children about. These are the lesson contents that we are experiencing all across the UK. It's talking about intercourse in every single orifice, every single position you can think of, even the positions you can't think of. It's all there. It's all there teaching your children different ways of having intercourse and these activities.
That's horrible.
We've got something there as well, and it's called the dice game. I don't know if anyone's aware of the dice game. The dice game is a government commissioned game. You can find it in Ann Summers. The only thing is, though, if you buy it from Ann Summers, you won't get the government logo on it. Within this dice game, there's instructions for the teacher. The instructions for the teacher say, hold your nerve. So we got instructions from the government to our teachers, giving our children sex games, and they telling the teachers to hold their nerve.
Oh my God.
What else have we seen? Again, all different types of pornography. We're told this education is to safeguard and to help children and prevent them from accessing things online. But their homework is to research the different types of it. So how are we protecting them online? What you see here are mostly about females. So it's telling us how many percent like bondage, how many percent have facial ejaculation, and how many percent have free sex. This here is the Government Health and Wellbeing Survey. Health and Wellbeing. This is issued to all the children in Scotland. It started from age 9, but since people have found out about it, the government seems to put the age up a little bit for the sake of the public. So let's have a look at some of the things the government wants to ask our children in school. The most recent time you had vaginal or anal sex, did you or the other person use a condom?
Oh my God.
The most recent time you had penetrative vaginal sex, did you or the other person use anything to prevent pregnancy? I just want to remind you all that age 13 and under is statutory rape age, so engaging in these conversations with children is actually non-contact sex abuse. How old were you when you had sex for the first time? 13 years or younger? 14 years old? 15 years old? When you first had sex, would you personally say you wanted it to happen earlier? You wanted it to happen at the time? You'd rather it happened later? So as you can see, these are very, very intrusive. These are government commissioned surveys. But it's Scotland. What's it got to do with S.Wales? Well, like I've said, we all signed the same contract for a start. Second of all, we've got Professor Donaldson, who wrote the Curriculum of Excellence for Scotland. Professor Donaldson is also involved in our curriculum here in Wales. Kirsty Williams is Welsh Friends Scotland. There's absolutely no doubt in now. And in actual fact, something happened last year that none of us were aware of. The Welsh Government issued our children with the Health and Wellbeing Survey. It wasn't as bad as that, no, but there was one sexual question on there for age 13 and under. So we'd already started, and like I say, we didn't even know about this question in the survey. We found out through an article online. We wrote to the Ministers of Education, all different ministers in the Senate. Their reply is simple. They said it's been sensationalised. We've tried to look for this survey, we cannot find it. But we did find reports. But these reports were for primary age children. So we can't really tell you who is having these questions, whether it's comp age children or primary age children. We simply do not know. So a massive part of this education, like I've mentioned, is the sexual and reproductive rights. We all need rights, don't we? Everyone wants rights. The sexual and reproductive rights of a child. Sexual and reproductive rights from birth. Why would they need that?
Yeah.
Well, according to the sexual and reproductive rights of a child, the state can administer medication to children without consent. This is a concern. It's a concern for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is we've got teachers taking children to get the morning after pill. That's a hormone. We've got teachers arranging abortions. That is an emotional, traumatic experience for anyone, let alone a child. In Scotland, it's horrific. In Scotland, July 2020, transgender intervention for 4-year-olds had increased by 80%. Children's rights, transgender treatment for 4-year-olds. The state can administer medication to your child. Fast forward 2 years. Transgender intervention for under 16s in Scotland has increased by 1,500%. They've been getting this education for 4 years.
My God.
So we are headed to a very dangerous place. Serious, dangerous place. But we are told this education is to safeguard, it's inclusive. Well, I've just shown you it's not safeguarding. And how is it inclusive? How is it inclusive if the parents don't have a say? How is it inclusive if it breaches people's religious beliefs? How is it inclusive if it's breaching my philosophical beliefs? This education does not include, it excludes. It excludes everyone away from their child's life. But it's okay, it's only a lesson, a sex ed lesson, isn't it? No, it is not. It is now a mandatory subject. Here in Wales, our 4 mandatory subjects for our children are English, Welsh, RVE, which is Religion, Values and Ethics, and RSE, CSE rebranded. So those are the 4 subjects our government think our children need to become healthy, happy, confident individuals. Where's science?
Yeah.
Where's biology? We are told this is about reproductive health and biology. Okay. So can someone explain why menstruation wasn't added to the curriculum until the 4th amendments? Shouldn't this have been the 1st amendments? We are told this is age appropriate and developmental appropriate. There is no assessment tool or scientific statement to define age appropriate. Developmental appropriate is on an individual basis. Developmental is individuality. So how can we assess this on a developmental stage? We cannot. We simply cannot. But the government seem to have done it. The government have 3 developmental phases for our children. Phase 1 is age 3 to 6. Phase 2 is age 7 to 10. And phase 3 is age 11 to 16. All of those children are under the legal age of consent.
Yeah.
Yet, we're equipping them with, well, we're actually encouraging them to use, let me just show you this. We're actually encouraging them to engage in as many sexual activities as possible on their own, also with sex toys. But if they cannot afford sex toys, there's images here giving them a good idea of just what vegetables they can use.
Oh my God.
So we've been told again, time and time again, this is to protect children, keep them safe online, to protect them from harm. So why? Why have we got schools in England issuing porn as homework?
Oh God.
We've had schools in hell having 14-year-olds to research different types of porn. We've got schools in Scotland telling them to research different types of porn. Home educators, you are not safe neither. ASDA is doing a home ed sex ed pack for you.
Serious.
And just to top it all off for a little bit of fun, they've got the 6-year-olds writing gay love letters.
Oh my God.
But this is it, guys. You know, this is the government has brought this in. The government, you know, they wouldn't sexualise our kids, would they? They got no need to sexualise our kids. This is for the benefit of our children's health. It's not for our government, it's for them. Well, do you know what? I am a criminologist and I am concerned with child sex abuse, exploitation and harmful sexual behaviour. I am more concerned with institutional abuse. So institutional abuse is anything from schools, sports halls, religious establishments. Yeah, it's the institution. I know convictions for child sex abuse are less than 1%. Here I have a list. 29 convicted sex offenders. Come on, that's just the front sheet. This is less than 1%. Every single person on this list is as a councillor, town councillor, county councillor, school governors, mayors, children's ministers. All these people are involved in your children's education, making decisions about your children, and they are all convicted of sex abuse on children. So, considering that's less than 1%, and these people work in public office, I think it's fair to say we do have a lot to be concerned about. We started our campaign in July 2020 during lockdown. We've written to the Education Minister. It took Kirsty Williams 18 months to reply to us.
Wow.
We've petitioned the government. The government removed the link for your children's sexual and reproductive rights. They refused us our debate. They've gone against us on 2 consultations. 96% of us were polled and we said we did not want this. They've gone against us at every stage. They're acting like we do not matter. We do not have a say in our children's education. So now we have no choice. We have to take this to the courts. And you know the strange thing of all is, we have been granted a judicial review against this sex education. This is actually the biggest story in the UK.
Yeah.
But you just don't know about it. We have gone further than any campaign in the UK